The SDM templates will vary based on the Cisco Catalyst switch. A 2960 will have a completely different set of SDM templates than we'll find on a Catalyst 3750. When we look at our 2960 Catalyst switch and we type in configure terminal and then we issue the command SDM prefer ? We can see that there are 4 SDM templates supported on the 2960. We have default, which is what we are running by default. It's known as a balanced SDM template, balancing the resources for the switch's intended purpose. However, if you need to support IPv4 and IPv6, you will need to change your SDM template. By default, IPv6 is not supported at all. So you would have to change it to dual IPv4 and IPv6. On a 2960, you can support static routing. However, you would need to change the SDM template to accomplish that. And if you need to have a bias towards quality of service and allocate more of the TCAM resources to quality of service, then you can change the SDM template to have more of the resources allocated to QoS. DSW1 being a 3750 Catalyst switch, let's look at SDM prefer and see what the options are there. By default, it is balanced between layer 3 and layer 2 services. However, if you want it to have a heavy bias towards layer 2 services and functions, then you can change the SDM template to access. If you want to have a heavy bias towards routing of IP packets, then you can change the SDM template to routing, so that way there's more space in the TCAM for routing entries. If this switch will be heavily utilized for static routing, then you can change the SDM template to LAN-based routing. However, one of the biggest reasons why you will need to modify the SDM template on a Cisco Catalyst switch is because the Cisco Catalyst switch doesn't support IPv6 by default. Try and type in any IPv6 command, and it will be unrecognized. It is unrecognized because there are no resources allocated at all for IPv6. Let's try that. On DSW1, we type in IPv6 unicast. I can't turn on IPv6 unicast routing on DSW1 because of the default SDM template. Show SDM preferred. Notice there are no resources reserved for IPv6 whatsoever. So we have to change the SDM template to accomplish this. You would do it in global configuration mode by typing in SDM prefer and then using the dual IPv4, IPv6 SDM template. We'll go to global configuration mode. Type in SDM prefer. We'll utilize the dual IPv4 and IPv6. And notice you have the ability to steer the SDM template to allocate resources either on a balanced IPv4, IPv6 basis, which is the default, or more towards IPv6 routing, or more towards layer 2 functionality. So you have 3 different options. We'll just use the balanced approach here. We'll go with default. We'll hit enter. And as you can see, the SDM template's not going to change until we reload the device. So we type in show SDM prefer now. It says we are currently using desktop default, but on our next reload, it's going to be changed to desktop IPv4 and IPv6 default. Let's go ahead and reload this so we can see the difference. Yes, I want to save my system configuration, and we'll let this reload occur. So the 3750 has successfully reloaded. Let's now take a look at what the SDM template is. Show SDM prefer. And it successfully implemented the desktop IPv4 and IPv6 default template. We are still only supporting 8 routed interfaces and 1024 VLANs, but you'll notice in the output now that we support not only IPv4, but we're also supporting IPv6. So we're supporting IPv4 routing, IPv6 routing. We're also supporting various IPv4 and IPv6 policies, such as policy-based routing, quality of service, security. So if you ever need to change your SDM template, the command is SDM prefer, and then you choose the template that is most appropriate. But let's double check. Can we use IPv6 commands now? Configure terminal. IPv6 unicast, there it is. We do have the ability to use IPv6 commands now.